Hey guys, welcome back in. Today we will be talking about affirmations. So, as you know, if you've been following our channel, we've been talking about dopamine and the reward pathway. Previously, we got into gratitude journaling. We want to take that next step and tell you about a powerful tool you can implement that has a lot of research to support the effects that it can have on your life in a positive way and really help you make great strides towards those future goals. So, today, stay tuned for our talk about affirmations.
Hey guys, welcome in. My name's Coach Chris.
And I'm Tammy Tomlinson, owner of Living Life Now.
Welcome to our channel where we discuss
Integrative approaches and healthier living.
Well, affirmations then.
Yes.
So to get on topic, actually, I think since affirmations, I know you're very big on affirmations. I am too, but I know you're very passionate about them. So why don't you like kind of bring us in a little bit and chat a bit more about affirmations?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just dive right in since we like the science, you like the science and the research and all that yummy goodness that's involved in the things that we like to share and talk about. Even when we're not taping podcasts, right? We are always
Right,
talking about the science and the research. So I'm
right.
going to start with neuroplasticity today. And
Ooh, look at you and your big
woo,
words.
yeah, the big word. We are working with our vocabulary, right? Neuroplasticity. So the brain's ability to adapt to new situations. So
Yeah,
when we're creating an affirmation and we're consistently repeating it to ourselves over and over and over on something that we want to bring into our lives, that we want to affirm, the brain is able to kind of like rewire and start to believe that which we are telling ourselves. And then what we put out into the universe, into the world, then comes back to us over time and through time. And I know we had said that what we think about, we bring about.
right. Yeah,
So,
we ended last episode on gratitude and gratitude journaling.
yeah.
I mean, actually, speaking that of that to tie us back into the last episode, gratitude journaling, has a lot of ties to neuroplasticity and helping us focus on the positives. So,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Right. Because in gratitude journaling, just really quick, I mean, many of us probably write, I am grateful for whatever. And
right,
that's essentially an affirmation, right? So we're reaffirming, we're affirming that which we're grateful for. And then we become, we're appreciative of the things that we have in our lives. So for me, the reason why I'm so passionate about affirmations was years ago, we had traveled to Denver, Colorado to go skiing in the winter, snow skiing. And it was, I live at sea level, maybe even an inch or two below sea level my whole life. So being in the mountains is something that my body's not really used to. And when you live with lungs that aren't as optimal as a quote normal person's set of lungs, breathing at an altitude can be cumbersome. Got to Denver, we landed, and then we were with another couple, drove immediately up to Breckenridge. And on this journey from like 5,000 some odd feet above sea level, basically it's a mile above sea level, which is why they call it the Mile High City. But nonetheless, Breckenridge, getting up to Breckenridge was a drive up to like 9,000 plus feet. And this little body of mine I just started to like have these little minor panic attacks, I'm guessing. But I started really thinking, oh my gosh, what if I can't breathe? What do I do? How am I going to manage? What if just spiraling out of control? And sitting in the back seat of the car, I came up with, I feel good. I feel great. I breathe free and easy. And I was like, oh my God, I love that. And so I just continued repeating that to myself over and over and over. And even while we were there, and then I still carry that with me to this day because any day that I feel like I am just not breathing well or having a good moment, I revert back to that. I feel good. I feel great. I breathe free and easy. So that was my first true moment of an affirmation that has really served me well. And I just have carried it with me many years. I want to say that was like in the early 2000s that I came up with that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
How about
I
you?
mean,
Do you have an experience with one or
I was going
some?
to comment on yours first.
Yeah.
I think one of the underlying, currents with affirmation is also it gets our mind off of that which it's just focused on in the moment, the present, a lot of the times. And so that's huge. People sometimes don't think about what that can mean. And so if it's a test that you're worried about, if it's something else that's causing you fear or anxiety, then just taking that time to focus on something positive, focus on something that you want to bring forward, well, at least it's better than focusing on the fear. It's we kind of have this ability or lack of ability in our brain to really focus on two things at the same time. We don't do it very well. So yeah, I mean the affirmations
Does
that
that go to the topic of multitasking, of which we're not discussing today, but we can only
yes,
really focus
exactly,
on one thing
exactly.
at a time?
Yes, exactly. Yes. We are everyone thinks they're a great multitasker and the research consistently shows otherwise. Even the best multitaskers aren't better than people that focus. So, but affirmation, like, well, on one side, yes, you're practicing something that is going to have a very real effect, and we know this by the research on how we think and perceive our world. But at the very least, in the moment, well, it gets you away from your fear. It gets you away from whatever negative thing is, that you're trying to leave behind and move forward. So yes,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
And
would
then the
say,
key,
go ahead.
I was going to say the key is when those other thoughts start to trickle back in, whatever it was that we were trying to push out, we have to just be cognizant, aware enough to like push that one back out and bring whatever it is positive that we want to bring in to keep the negative away.
Right. Honestly, I guess this is my experience and also my experience working with clients. Maybe you can second this is that, and again, this is research based as well. The more we practice things like affirmations, the more we practice things like gratitude journaling, the quicker and the more we respond, this way when those negative thoughts come in to our head, we almost develop a reflex and we're quicker to take action each and every time that it happens. And so the negative thoughts, the things, the fears persist for a lesser period of time each and every time that we choose to take action in an affirmative or gratitude focused way. So, and then I would say on my end of things, affirmations are big, not only for myself personally, like gratitude wise, but also in my practice. Um, we got into this a little bit, like when we tried to make this video before, but a big part of my practice when I work with clients is to help them or try to work with them so that they can see the correlation between past success and present goals and creating affirmations around those things. And so a lot of the times I will point back at someone's education or their career success or very real things that people have overcome obstacles to move forward. Maybe a little bit less intentionally, like we're talking now, where we're talking about affirmations and gratitude and so on and so forth.
So, can you give me an example of what one of those affirmations would look like?
But yeah, I was going to get to that.
Oh,
So
okay.
generally, for example, if I'm dealing with, say, a college student that, or not a college student, but somebody that went to college, which is a good one because college is not easy. And especially like the further up you go, it generally gets much more difficult. But sometimes you'll be dealing with someone that they're like deer in the headlights with the present goals that are in front of them. And their ability to like problem solve and work through the things that they're dealing with in that time. So I will talk to them like, were there times in your past where you had to think creative, think creatively and really, problem solve to get past things? And they'll generally tell me about a situation. I'll say, okay, well, then this is no different. Even if I wasn't here, you could apply that skill to your present circumstance and you could figure out a solution if you're focused on doing it. And so the next step generally is to get that affirmation started, which would, in that case, be like, I've overcome past, I've overcome past, difficulties through whatever creativity and problem solving. I'm capable of doing it now. I can apply it to this. I am a capable person. I am a problem solver. I am a creative person. And then we say, okay, that's the person, right? This is who you're casting the vision for. What is the next step that that person would do? Give me an action. Let's get started. Like, so we can start putting some belief into this affirmation, some action to this affirmation. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. I'm still trying to create one in my head though, what that would look like, you know.
Yeah.
And can you just create one off the top of your head based on that scenario?
I mean, that's really like I just kind of did that just a second ago, where the person will just say like, "Hey, I'm a creative person. I'm a problem solver, you know, and that
I can overcome this
I can
obstacle.
overcome this obstacle. Yes, I can overcome this obstacle. Yes, exactly." But interestingly enough, and this is research that both you and I have reviewed, that affirmations based on past successes aren't nearly as uh, what what could we say? They are not as strong. They don't generally end with as likely of positive outcomes as affirmations based on future events that you may not have a basis for, which is kind of interesting. So this is again what the research supports that. So for example, yes, it's better than not making an affirmation at all, but there seems to be something about, and I know you and I have talked about this before, faith and faith's
Mhm.
involvement in things. So affirmations kind of based on faith, not necessarily on previous basis, but faith in future things and cast forward in future events by the research, and this is actual research, end up more positively and have a greater outcome of success than affirmations based on past events.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
really
kind of
cool.
yeah, so that's kind of like the vision.
Yeah.
In putting out there the things that which you want to call into your own life, right? And kind of circling back to the beginning, that what you think about, you bring about. So if
Yeah.
there's, something, it doesn't necessarily have to be about how you're feeling, you're stressed or you're anxious or whatever. Right now, you can also, affirm things that you're wanting to put in. Like, I own my own wellness studio, right? I
Right.
am the owner of my own wellness studio.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not, but that's something I could certainly throw out there, and
Sure.
something I've
Absolutely.
thought about and considered,
Right.
but I've not put a lot of attention or affirmation into that
Right.
as of yet. Maybe I will
Right.
start that. Who knows?
Right.
But so, kind of going back to your fear that you mentioned a moment ago, looking to this one paper that we looked at, self-affirmation activates brain systems. And it kind of talked about the fear, right? And it made me think about how affirmations could also maybe be helpful for our self-esteem and our self-worth and our self-confidence. Like, I am a good person. I am worthy.
Mhm.
I am good enough, things along
Right,
those lines so that we
right,
can.
right.
But I also thought it was interesting, just thinking about it from a fear standpoint. And I think this is kind of what you were trying to allude to, that when we're fearful of things or something that we need to do or a test we need to take or a job interview or something like that, we begin to fester over it or we ruminate over it, and
Right,
it becomes this bigger thing in life than that which it needs to be. And reality, if we could just dial it back in and say, you know what, I got this. I got this. I can do this. This is for me. This is for me, and I'm
right,
okay.
right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, again, I feel it's a very powerful tool in regards to that. I think that's well put. And, it's a good reflection on your part.
Thank you.
Yes. One other thing, like that I found fascinating about that same study by the way, guys, this is for those that are like kind of listening in, this is PubMed ID 265-413-73. We will put it in the comments below for you. But they called out affirmations mixed with self-transcendent values and goals are particularly powerful and are much more powerful than self-enhancing ones. Again, this is by the research. Um, Affirmations are also, this is an interesting one too, I felt, are connected to reducing ego depletion, which is the technical term for self-control. So affirmations and, when they're attached to goals that are self-transcending are extremely powerful. And on top of it, when attached to goals, the actions associated with those goals generally don't deplete your ego or ego depletion as much, which again, that is another word, fancy term for self control, which is kind of interesting because generally these things can be the deal breakers, especially when we're trying to start lifestyle change and make changes in our life that can really hold us back because of that extra self control that they require to get moving. Yep.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. The brain's a
Yes. Yes.
fascinating organ, right? It's just really cool.
Absolutely.
Really cool. So, yeah. And I also have here on my notes that it's important to continually reaffirm, you know,
Absolutely.
and especially if it's, something like you were just referring to. We need to continually remind ourselves. And, when I was getting ready today and drying my hair, I was saying, I'm free of yippee, I'm free of anxiety. I
Yippee,
wanted something
yippee. I'm a
fun.
world famous podcaster.
I'm free of anxiety. So yeah, I wanted something that was fun and kind of rhymed and just kind of flowed off my tongue.
Right.
But yeah, just, thinking about a lot of medical stuff lately. And I've just been going to back appointments, it feels like. So I'm just really trying to like dial in, hone in, use the tips and tricks and techniques that I know can work for me.
Absolutely.
And yeah, and affirmations is one of my go-tos. I tell people all the time to create
Absolutely.
something that works for you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I
And if we
mean,
have to, say it in front of the mirror, depending on what it is. If you're going to a job
true.
interview and you're not like super
True.
100% confident, stand in front of the mirror until you're 100% confident that you got that. You got it. I got this. This one has it. It's all mine. So there you
There
go.
you have it. Yeah. Well, is there anything else that you want to get off your chest in regards to affirmations before we, you know, Mrs. You got this, before
I
we
got this. I
close
got
it
this.
out?
Woo-hoo. No, I think that's good. I'm sure we're going to circle back around and reaffirm affirmations somewhere along the line in this journey of ours. And this beautiful life that we get to live and share with each other. So no, I think that's good. It's a good start. It's a good start.
All right, good. Well, it's good powwowing with you again, as always, Tammy.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
yep.
Love the time
Well,
together.
yeah. We'll catch you next time, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Super
Signing
duper.
off.
Integrative approaches and healthier living.